Hi, welcome to the Mohua show. My name is Mohua Chinappa and I am an author, entrepreneur and ex-housewife. This podcast is about everything from business to technology to arts to lifestyle, but done and spoken ईमानदारी से. Hi, in today's episode, we have with us Komalini Natesan. Komalini is a writer, a poet, and a very dear friend of mine. Komalini has authored a delightful book called Naked Beneath the Midnight Sun. She's also a short story writer, and her stories have been published in various online literary magazines. Komalini is a trained classical vocalist, Hindustani, is also a French teacher. She's an avid reader and loves engaging with her readers for book reviews, poetry, and Instagram posts. She enjoys photography and documenting her travels and sharing blogs on her posts. She's easily moved by cinema and music, not surprised at all. Acting in theatre and movies was something she had desired as a profession, but gave it all up for motherhood. Welcome, Komalini. So often we hear stories of the struggle of children coming out, but seldom we hear about the impact on the family and the loved ones. When your son showed signs of wanting to transition into a woman, what was your reaction for the first time?
Well, Chaitanya, who was our son, was around 17 when he announced that he felt like he was a girl. And of course, it came out of the blue. It was a complete shocker because Chaitanya had been a typical boy, chasing skirts in his adolescence, falling in love, having also needed psychiatric help because of the intensity of his love for another girl at the ripe old age of 11. And it was very, very strange that he announces to us one fine day that, he's a girl. And we thought it's another one of those things because at age 4, he had been declared to have ADHD. And then later on, he had many, many other problems, always getting into trouble at school, breaking rules, inciting others to break rules, etc. So it was really strange for us to hear this. And I said, Chait, which is what we called him, Chait, really, what next, So he said, no, I've been able to hide it very well because I have a very high IQ. That's what he says to us. And he's he was so charming. He knew exactly what to say, how to say it. So we did revisit his psychiatrist, who had been seeing since the age of 10, I think, Dr. Sen. And Dr. Sen told us that I have not seen it either. So we would like to wait to see if you consistently still want to be a woman. So Chait said, how long are we going to wait? I want to get on those hormones. So, because obviously he knew exactly what it entailed. And we asked for 2 years to ensure that, because once you get onto those hormones, it's irreversible. And for 2 years, we waited. And we started the hormones at the age of 19. We gave in. And that's how it was. In the meantime, Chait started cross-dressing. Behavior remained the same, apart from the outward shell, which started trying to don women's clothes and grow out the hair, etc. And we started hormones at the age of 19. That's basically what happened. And we came to terms with it.
So, Komalini, it's altogether a different story, for the parents, as their first instinct is to protect the child, which I'm sure even you went through this, So, you need to tell our listeners about the journey you took internally to handle this humongous challenge that, while I'm talking to you, I get the goosebumps because it is so difficult as a committed mother as you, and I'm sure all mothers, give their best with their child. So, do share with our listeners because there would be so many people who are currently facing this sort of a challenge and they don't know how to internalize it. They don't know how to speak to anybody. What are the things that you could share, in your journey as a mother?
So basically, Chaitanya, who's now Anya, was all consuming. She took, and I will now refer to her as she, it's been a few years. She took all of my mind, my spirit, my being. It was dedicated and devoted to looking after her and, making sure that she's safe because she was always getting into trouble. Insofar as the transgender journey is concerned, Mohua, it was not difficult. I mean, accepting that, okay, now that we've taken up this challenge, this journey, no problem. Let's get onto the hormones. Let's treat her as a girl. Let's give her that respect. And that was not difficult at all, actually, for me. I said, okay, it's the same person. The body is going to undergo change, but I accept you wholly as my child and as now my daughter. All right, and I started writing posts also about it that, oh, I have two daughters now and whatever. But that it was not that which troubled us at all. It was the other stuff that started happening. She started gambling on the side, started stealing from us, started getting into sexual escapades, and all that was very, very troubling for us. And we were regularly seeing psychotherapists and psychiatrists, obviously, to monitor this. And they themselves, and Anya would tell us that, you know what, these people don't know anything. I know better. I know better. And it was very frightening, Mohua. It was a very, very frightening journey. When I discovered that she had actually emptied my bank account on the sly, she took my phone so that she could, get the OTPs and quickly transfer the money, get the money out, and all sorts of things. And finally, she had to be rehabilitated. She had to go to a rehab in Bombay, near Bombay in Kalyan, which cost us an arm and a leg. But we said, okay, this is for our child. And she, of course, there created a ruckus because she said, I want to use the women's toilet and got into all sorts of trouble there also and ran away from there twice. So the journey has been harrowing, frankly speaking. It was harrowing. And I have had so many blackouts just worrying about her. Is she safe? Is she safe? Is she safe? That's all that mattered to me, that my child should be safe. But she was never really safe, not from herself, because she drove everybody around her crazy, especially the family. She was different with outsiders and she was different with us. There were two aspects to this persona that she was developing.
Kamalini also moved to Thailand just for her, for your daughter's surgery. How did you feel about moving your entire life that you were leaving behind and moving to Thailand?
No, we didn't move for her. It's just weird that it coincided with the time that we wanted her to have the transition. My husband got a job, the father, he got a job. And it was like, wow, how could this be happening? It's amazing, And we were all thrilled for Anya. We said, okay, this is the place where you can get your transition done. So we moved to Thailand. We were very happy. But of course, that didn't work out well either because it was the same person who came with us. And we put her into university, into private university, which really cost us a lot. Got her an ed visa, which is an education visa, because she was already over 21. And, she started playing truant at college as well. She stopped attending classes. She actually got into drugs and all that. And Thailand is a very, very strict country. If you're caught, you're jailed indefinitely. And we confronted and asked her, what is it you want? Do you not want to transition? Do you not want us to get you to be the woman that you want to be? She said, yes, but I'm not willing to go to university because they don't allow me to wear the female uniform for the exams and they don't allow me to use the female toilet. And we found those so flimsy when pitted against a complete life change, her body. And we just couldn't understand it. We were aghast that she would use these as an excuse to not attend college, which would allow her to stay in Thailand. So she decided to come back to India. There was no other go. There was no go. She had to come back to India.
You mentioned police cases and many situations, that, your child put you through and then you faced all of them, without once wanting to abandon her in her own journey. Uh, in all of this, what was the reaction of your family members? Were they supportive towards you, Kamalini?
No. Um, Frankly, Mohua, I can say this now that my family, as in I just have an elder sister and she has two daughters. And no, nobody really understood what we were going through. I don't think they understood because Anya was very different when outside of this nucleus. There is Ambika, elder daughter, Raja, and me, and Anya. She was very different with them. She would appear to be almost like, an ordinary person, like with no issues whatsoever. She was extremely manipulative. She manipulated every situation to her benefit. And of course, I did not see it at the time. I did not. I did not even know it, but I never got any understanding. They felt bad for me and for us, but they said, she's not that bad. She doesn't have so many issues. Nobody really understood what we were going through, what she was putting us through. And I don't think they even bought it. I'm not sure that they believed half of what I was saying. It was very, very difficult, Mohua. I shudder to think about it now. I just shudder.
Motherhood is a very haloed role, of sacrifice, selflessness, and then it's almost godlike, I mean, and, you know, were there any times when you regretted being a mother?
No, no. I feel that I was chosen to be Anya and Ambika's mother. I was chosen to go through these experiences that have actually helped me empathize and become more compassionate toward other parents who might have similar issues and similar kind of children. I have been hurt, I have broken many times, but I have never, ever regretted mothering my two children, ever. It wasn't easy, it's still not easy, but regret, no, no. I have no regrets. I have no regrets whatsoever, Moa. I like being a mother. I like feeling what I feel. I'm okay with the pain. It has made me a larger person. It has made me a more compassionate person and a better understanding of others' pain. So, no, I have no regrets.
It's very unusual for a mother to be hurt and also be vocal about the trauma a child can cause, because most of us try to keep it totally under wraps because we feel that we would be judged. Where did you find the courage and inner resilience to open up about your experiences? There must have been one moment, Kamalini, that I think our listeners would really love to hear.
Uh, so, when Anya left for India, I I felt that, my skin was tearing away from my body because Anya was all consuming. I was consumed by looking after this child who would get into trouble. And frankly, were it not for the amazing therapist that I had, who showed me a mirror, who showed me what Anya was doing to us, it was very, very, it became clear over time that it was manipulation of the weakest link in the family. That's the mother. That was me. She could always get to me. She had started stealing from us in Thailand also, and going on sexual escapades and drugs. And it was through therapy that I began to actually see what was happening to me, what was being made to happen to me, what I was in for. Like I had blinders on. I couldn't see that Anya was actually using me and my vulnerability to get what she wanted from me. Anya has very low EQ, like feelings. I don't even know if she feels anything at all. And that is what I slowly came to terms with. So when she went to India, I used to get calls from various kinds of people that, she might burn the house down, there's smoke coming out from her room. And I would say she's over 21 because therapy helped me understand that she's an adult and she needs to learn to live life on her own terms, not just use us for money to go out and, have drugs and sex and whatever it was that she was doing. And I started then very, very gradually telling these people that she's an adult. If she's choosing to, it is your choice to keep her in your house or not. When the police called me saying that she's cut herself, I said, how did you know that she had? So they said, uska phone aaya. I said, oh, she's able to tell you this, which means she didn't cut herself to, do away with herself. She wanted you to call us. How did you get my number? So they said, well, she gave it to us. I said, there you go. She's over 21. You do what you need to do with it. They said, hum jail mein dal de. I said, well, if that's what you do with people who try to commit suicide, go ahead. But it took, I had to hold my breath before saying that because it was so difficult. How do you say that, about your child? But I said it. And of course, the next day we got a call from her asking for money. So these ploys she used repeatedly, repeatedly, repeatedly. And it took 2 years for me to come to terms with the fact that I'm not just a mother, I'm also a person who needs to live life and love life for what it offers me. And Anya should stop manipulating me. And yes, it came in the way. My husband and I, we couldn't talk about it for the longest time. It was very, very difficult, Mohua. It was breaking us. His grief was in the form of anger. Mine was in the form of tears, nightmares, and trembling and blackouts. And it took 2 whole years of therapy for me to come to terms with the fact that Anya is her own person. She has to find the light on her own. I can't show it to her. I can't. Nobody can. And that's how I got the courage. Working on myself with the help of therapy, with the support of my elder daughter, with my husband, whose grief I then understood, again, thanks to therapy, who also understood my grief and why I grieve the way I do. And there you go. And I hope mothers are listening and not allowing themselves to be manipulated by their children to such a degree.
Komalini, I'm very rarely speechless in an interview for the first time today. I don't have any more words actually, in my own vocabulary to even articulate what you've said just now. I would like to end the episode, but before that, I really want you to tell us that, we grew up in times where mothers were usually housewives and, we nurtured this whole romanticized idea of motherhood and it still continues. There's constant media that talks about mother and the sacrifices that she makes. And sometimes in many situations, like, I can talk for myself today. I mean, I love my son and he's my emotional anchor. But, today he's in London and I've done everything possible and I want him to have a very happy life. But I'm actually left alone to manage all the situations for myself, And there are many children today, young girls who are opting to not, become mothers because women and our lives, I think, gets affected or the most between two parents unless gender roles change over time. What would you like to tell? Because you've been a wonderful mother to your other daughter too, and you've been a wonderful mother to a child who's, with whom you've had such a difficult relationship. So it'll be wonderful for mothers who are going through this, and there are so many across the world and in India, and in rural parts of India, and we have a lot of listeners from Himachal Pradesh also. Maybe they don't know how to articulate when they go through a situation like this, and it doesn't only mean transition. It can be so many other emotional issues that mothers go through. What would you like to share with the listeners today?
Well, as I said to you, Mohua, the transition was nothing. It was the easiest part of mothering Anya. I would like to say that motherhood is fantastic. It's something that I really, really, I feel grateful that I'm a mother, that I could be a mother. There are women who even can't become mothers, who find it difficult. I feel motherhood shouldn't become your crutch. It shouldn't weaken you. It should strengthen you. Motherhood is not about allowing yourself to let your children manipulate you to, and above all, don't worry about what the others are saying. Don't worry about what society. When I took the call to allow Anya to go and become her own person, many of my friends said, "Don't worry what others will say, this is something good that you're doing." And I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not worried about anybody, my family, anybody beyond this little nucleus. I had another daughter to look after who I had ignored for years on end. And that's for another day, another story, how much she suffered on account of Anya. Um, don't allow your child to manipulate you. Continue living your life. You're also a person, you owe yourself that. And try and see it, see if your child is manipulating you and tackle it. Don't say, "Oh, my poor bacha, my poor kid." It's never a poor kid. Kids see your chinks. Kids are able to clearly see when they can manipulate you, they can mold you, and around their little finger and get what they want, because one day they're gone. They're going to lead their own lives. You're going to be left, holding whatever it is you're holding. And broken, you could be broken because of them. And when Anya was in rehab, I saw many parents, many broken parents, and the child was manipulating them. It's very hard to see it, though, Moha. It's very, very hard. You don't want to see it because it's your kid. And I don't know why mothers think that the kids are an extension of them. They are not. They're their own people. They are not an extension of us. I'm not responsible for Anya's misbehavior, for Anya's gambling, for Anya's sexual escapades, for Anya's twisted mind. I'm not. I'm sorry. I don't have that in me. And look at Ambika, the elder one. She's so different, so forgiving, so loving, so beautiful. It's the same parenting, right? So I'd like to tell the mothers out there, don't forget yourselves in motherhood. Grow alongside. Help your child. Just be who you want your child to be. And that's it. You can only be. You can only love. And beyond that, the child is, going to be his own person, her own person. That's it, Moa. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Kamalini. And I think you've just summed up exactly how I feel in an article that I'd written about, abortion, that one can't force a woman to have a child because it is another person and it is not just an extension of her alone.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, before we end the episode, there is a quote that, is not, the name is not there, it's anonymous, that says, every woman has at least one challenge in her life. She's either married to it or she gives birth to it. So,
Well said, well said.
yes.
So
So,
true.
absolutely. These are the challenges that people don't wish to discuss. And they are frightened because society has not yet allowed
That's
us to
it.
speak
We are
our mind.
so scared of what society will say all the time. Society is dictating our lives. Don't do that, please. Do what you find correct. Even if it is that you want to obey your child and be manipulated, it's your choice. Own it. Own your choices. Don't let society tell you what you should or would be. Please. That's what I'd like to tell the audience, the listeners. Really.
Thank you, Kamalini. Wish you all the best and thank you for being on today's episode.
Thank you, Mohua, for having me. Thank you very much. Thank you.
To you, our dearest listeners, you can find us on your favorite streaming services, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and of course on all other major streaming services. With loads of love, we are The Mohua Show, where we talk imandari se.